I love the masked man. What do you call that? Overlay?
Secret agent man. Secret agent man. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We're not getting ready. We're not ready to start yet. We're just gonna hang out for a few and see if we can get some folks to float in. I am going to, it is recording already, so it will be posted after we get done. Because like the post says, I'm only going to do this once, and I'm just going to keep reposting the same one anytime anybody asks a question, because it is that simple. So feel free to share the link and get some more people in here if you want, folks. I appreciate it. As I am doing the same thing myself.
Well, I just have to say thank you ahead of time for doing this, because it's much appreciated.
Anytime. This is the only task I have left in life. Education and knowledge. Yes, and thanks everybody for the born day wishes. I appreciate it.
Is that today?
Yes. I am.
Happy birthday!
Evidently, I'm officially by hearsay 55 years old. I don't feel that old.
It's all in the mind.
That it is. And in the meantime, of course, I hope everybody's been having a good day, enjoying life, living a life, loving a life. We got to do that. That is our priority.
Do you have any plans to celebrate?
Well, somebody just commented in the chat section. I've got an engine coming for my bike, but it was supposed to have been here today, but here it is 5 o'clock in the evening, and it hasn't arrived yet. So I don't know what the deal is there, but that was my intent. Back on the road with an engine, not applicable to motor vehicle laws. Let's see here. Make sure I'm on the right page, and then we'll get started. So again, thank you everybody for joining. Hope you're having a good day, enjoying life, living a life, loving life. Please feel free to share the link. And of course, I'm going to grab my PayPal link and my other forum links and stuff when I get done and attach that. So please share some love through the PayPal link, but always be reminded to share the information and videos and everything so other people can grasp this. Okay, so here we are. We're at 5 p.m. on the 20th day of August in the year of our Lord 2021. The day I was born in 1966. 55 years later, And it was 55 years after the intent to assign a social security number to a newborn child. And tell you what, people, I am quite pissed about this. And it's not any particular person or body of persons that I'm pissed at. I'm pissed at the concept. I'm pissed at the concept that anybody in their right minds, in contract nature, knowing the law of contract, could even conscionably think about assigning a social security number to a newborn child. If you are going to assign anybody anything, that is a trust term. And the assignment is not something that is mandatory. It is an offer and acceptance. And that offer and acceptance is not a matter of a debt that's already owed, but a debt that comes because one accepts the assignment. It's a process. And they tell us here the process procedure to assign a social security number to a newborn child. Can't do that, folks. It's a contract nature, and you cannot contract with minors. Title 20 of the CFR 422.103 in regards to employee benefits. And I spoke on this before. When you sign up for Social Security at the age of 18, in the documentation, they qualify you as a Medicare qualified government employee. Now, if they're qualifying you as a Medicare qualified government employee upon assignment of a Social Security number to a newborn child when you're born, I think it very reasonable and logic to question whether that newborn child can in fact and in truth be an employee and thereby perform the functions of public office. I highly question this. And I urge any world leader, any banker, any low little municipal banker or municipal, anybody who thinks they have authority, knowledge, wisdom, or charisma to pass that bullshit on, bring it. It will no longer ride. And like I said, I'll not explain this again. I'll not redo this video. This video is being done once. It's recorded to my device, and I will keep reposting it no matter how many times anybody tries to take it down. And I highly suggest everybody get these two links and know these two links. 20 CFR 422.103 and 422.104. Those are the only two ones we are going to discuss today in reference to the Social Security number, other than the term "you," which sits at 422.402. So let's start out with Social Security numbers. What is the reason for a Social Security number? General. One of my favorite terms. When you read general, it means military. It is, in fact, a term. Hold on, folks. Okay. So we know it's a military term. And this is why I tell you the hospitals, in fact, are military establishments, and they are customs ports. Remember, those doctors under a government that takes an oath to the United States, under God, And these doctors take an oath to Apollo and the Greek gods. The Social Security Administration maintains a record of the earnings reported for each individual assigned a Social Security number. Again, that Medicare qualified government employee, if they're applying it to the individual when it's a newborn child, how is that done? They create an impossibility, and they haven't said it yet, but we're going to read it. The individual's name and social security number identify the record. The social security number and the name do not identify the man at all. It identifies the record. Think about this, people. So that the wages or self-employment income reported for or by the individual can be properly posted. This is why we deal with the post office, the postal service. Who is posting what, where, and who reported it to be posted to the individual's record, not the public record, not the public, the individual's record. Additional procedures concerning Social Security numbers may be found in Internal Revenue Service, Department of the Treasury Regulation 26 CFR 31.600 or 6011 B-2. Not found. We'll have to look that up. That's supposed to be a link. Applying for a number. Now, if the number is assigned to a newborn child, did the child apply for the number? Did the individual themselves file for the number? Did the individual themselves report it? No. It was reported for the individual by another individual in error. In error. It cannot be done any other way, because even if you try to do it knowingly, that is fraud. To knowingly assign somebody that is incompetent to the capacity of a function of public office is in fact fraud. And again, I urge any world leader, anybody who thinks they have the authority, knowledge, or wisdom to come forth and rebut that. You have created an impossibility in, on, and for this record. An individual needing a Social Security number may apply for one. So again, did somebody else apply for it? Because up here it doesn't say apply for it. It says reported for it. Completing a prescribed application. And that prescribed application must have an OMB number on it. If your local hospital doctors and everybody are passing along these documents that do not have an OMB number, again, that is fraud. And submitting the required evidence. An individual outside the United States may apply for a Social Security number card at the Department of Veterans Affairs Regional Office, Manila, Philippines, at any U.S. Foreign Service post or at a U.S. military post outside the United States. See 422.106 for special procedure for filing applications with other government agencies. Additionally, a U.S. resident may apply for a Social Security number, Social Security number card, or apply for a Social Security number for a non-resident dependent when the number is necessary for U.S. tax purposes or some other valid reason. Has to be a valid reason to apply a Social Security number to a newborn child, and there is not a single one. None. And anybody who poses, well, it's a public trust, they're a beneficiary, then talk about charitable trust in regards to that public trust. It can't possibly exist beyond about 1,000 people. Anything larger than that, as far as a charitable trust, is likely ineffective. And again, I ask for anybody to come forth with proof that the public trust that operates now is in fact effective in regards to the operations of a true public trust, and in fact is not being pilfered, plundered, and abused, fraud, waste, and abused all the way through and through, simply because of its use of Social Security numbers in this procedure. The evidence requirements of section 422.107 are met, and we determine that a personal interview with the dependent is not required. You means an individual who owes a debt to the United States. 422.107, evidence requirements to obtain an original Social Security number card. What happened to the Social Security number assignment? I want that. I want the evidence that existed before the card. Pay attention to the language, people. Because again, as we saw here, the required evidence is in regards to Social Security numbers or Social Security number card. Number or the numbered card. So, birth registration document. That's the one I want. I want the assignment. We may enter into an agreement with officials of a state, including, for this purpose, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, Guam, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and New York City. You recognize New York City is a new nation state. To establish, if I am already established, then what are they establishing? As part of the official birth registration process. a procedure to assist us in assigning a social security number, in assigning social security numbers to newborn children. Need not complete a prescribed application and may request that we assign a social security number to the newborn child. Again, it is an impossibility knowing that you owes a debt to the United States and you is the only reason that, or you are the only one that can apply. No one else can apply for you. It never says anybody else can apply for you. But it says somebody else can request that somebody else assign a number to them. Yet even the assignment of a number under that precept that they owe a debt to the United States to a newborn child. How do you show in any record that a newborn child owes a debt to the United States? And that is why a number was assigned to them. Can't be done. Can't be done. You ask any law major, any English major, any math major, it is a procedure that one thing must come first. And that is the individual must first owe a debt to the United States. And we'll clarify this. Where an agreement is in effect, a parent, as part of the official birth registration process, need not complete a prescribed application. Why is that? Because the parent is already, because upon age of 18, they applied for the card, and now there was a presumption placed on the record that they are a Medicare qualified government employee. And therefore it is internal. And as an employee, they are giving up their own property internally in that organization to that organization as collateral for the debt that they say the collateral itself owes. Can't happen. Can't happen. So let's look at the next one, which is the very next one, 1.04. It says, who can be assigned a social security number? Persons eligible. Remember, the number doesn't apply to the man. It applies to the individual's record. That is the person. And every time you get any kind of ID, driver's license, medical card, ID card at McDonald's, that is an extension of that person because you continue giving data elements. You continue reporting data elements. You can continue then filing applications, making reports. You're the one doing it. You do, in fact, owe the debt to the United States simply because you assume the presumption that is implied. Learn this. Get rid of your assumption of their presumption because it can't be implied. It's an impossibility. Impossible. Persons eligible for Social Security number assignment. We can assign you, and you means an individual who owes a debt to the United States within the scope of this subpart. So if you owes a debt to the United States and and they are assigning the number to your newborn child, I again ask anybody to rebut how that newborn child could possibly have a debt owing to the United States. It is impossible. Impossibility. Impossibility. The floor is open. You may unmute yourselves. I'll grab the links and put them in the chat section, but in plain writing. And it takes no more than that to rebut anything they issue. Everything extends from the owing of a debt. Everything is a debt collection. Everything has been done on that one single presumption. Nothing more and nothing less. I yield. Please fill the room with some voices, because otherwise I'll shut it down. And like I said, I really don't want to continue being the only one that speaks on this. So please speak up, people. I need your questions, comments, complaints, and concerns.
Happy day, Nativity! Secret Agent Man, I love you. Agape, especially when we're talking about numbers. So, you know, have you read about the Treasury Direct account and how you can open one and only one for someone who hasn't had a Social Security assigned to them? Have you done that research much?
No, I haven't. That's the first I've heard of it. We have to talk about that.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, because here's the thing, you know, the idea that we're foreign, and obviously we're foreign to them. And what I like to read about, actually, what I'd like to talk about is in the Old Testament, when, was it King David that ordered the first census? He was the one who ordered the first census. And he was told that there were certain people who were not to be numbered, right? And because they numbered those people, that he suffered a lot in his family from that, correct, Keith?
Yes.
Yes. And so this is the whole number, right? And, you know, in the scriptures, it talks about
But-
no one will be able.
Lori,
No
I'm
one-
sorry. What part of the Bible is that?
I'll have to look it up. I don't remember off the top of my head which scriptures, but let me look it up, and I can post a link when he reposts this so you can find it. So it is one of the things actually that was listed, and he did suffer. His whole household did from him doing that. But the interesting part is, it also in the scriptures, it talks about how during this time no one will be able to buy or sell, right?
Yes, that's the redemption. Redeem
Right.
means to buy back. If we have
Right.
been bought, we have the right to buy back.
And that's a practice in equity, correct, Keith?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
the we just talked about it yesterday, a credit sale. When you put a credit sale clause in a contract, what you're doing is you're removing the ability of the creditor to buy back what he sold.
right, and that has to do with a pledge that happens. So when you're talking about this, I don't know if you saw my post in there about you being a definition of a newborn child. This is Catholic teaching. And these foundling hospitals are actually ran by the Catholic Church, right? Because you're all born sinners. So that was my thoughts on that. And the fact that I don't think a lot of people comprehend that Social Security numbers are given for those who are actually considered dead, not just civilly dead, but actually truly dead. So by so by walking around using a Social Security number, we're basically, it's kind of almost a form of necromancy. We're going around and being like, oh, here's this number, I'm this dead person. And yeah, that's why they grab people and they use their bodies, because they think that we're like them, that we're just acting on behalf of the estate as opposed to actually being an heir or beneficiary, right, Keith?
Yes. You see, when they pose that the person is dependent, then it's not actually as a beneficial position, is it? See, as children, we're dependent on our moms and dads, but in this society, we should all be seeing that we are actually restricted by our parents. Think about this. We're teaching our children to follow our ways. We're not supposed to be doing that. Do
So
as
what
he
are the
says. Do as he says, not as I do.
right.
I please forgive me for my actions. I repent. That is what we're supposed to repent for, is our actions, not our words. Because a man is bound by his words, therefore he must follow up on his actions. However, his actions speak louder than words. So his actions put the words that are actually true in front of people. So when you speak something and yet act differently, your children are the first ones that see it. Always teach them to do as he says, not as you do, because you are in fact not perfect.
So that's what's
That's why
interesting.
I tell everybody, don't do what I'm doing. My truth is not your truth. Please, you try to do what I'm doing, you're going to fall.
So is this a good time?
If you truly want to do what I'm doing and stop. Stop everything and start learning everything you can. And I know a lot of you are in, I see that wonderful, wonderful smile, just like her dad's. And I know you can't do what I'm doing, brother. You can't stop everything you're doing. You've got that little child there that is already sucked into this system that has dependencies. Federal Reserve notes, a doctrine of necessity. Even I still use that, and I comprehend that. So at least stop what you can. And the biggest tool, there's another one. Thank you, brother. I love seeing them baby faces. And so what we've got to do is stop the assignment of the numbers. The number is like we saw in there, is the assignment to the individual's record. Record. It's re-saying what we're supposed to be saying. And again, our actions speak louder than words. So we should truly be telling of our actions that we've already done through experience, by saying, this is what I've done, this is what happened, and this is what I'm going to try to do next time. That's all we should be doing. We shouldn't be making claims and all this other stuff. That's why I oppose anybody in the world that wants to come at me about this Social Security number. Please do so, because I think I see the impossibility there. Everybody is posing that child owes a debt by assigning them a number. I'm sorry. I don't think so. Go ahead, Lori.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. So for a solution, I agree with you and I love your passion. And so a solution to that, right, is in law and at law, making a mistake is actually forgivable. And that's it. I forgive. And taking what we want to put our hand to, the signature, and rescinding it and doing a revocation of election, correct, Keith? That's what it's called, with the Social Security number.
Yes,
I don't know
revocation of election, because they only have a selection. See, think about the terms. I ask everybody to break down those words and everything. When we see elect and select, what is the root? Is it elect? No, the root is lect, as in lecture. L-E-C-T. Look up what the etymology of lect means, and then realize what elect means as opposed to select. Look up S-E. S-E root. S-E Latin root. What does it mean? And that is totally opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. Our lection is our standing. It's what we speak. It's our actions. Our election is the energy that comes from within inside of us that causes those lections, those movements. The selection is a planned set of movements before you that you then get to select through your election to do so. But yes, it's a revocation of election. Go ahead, brother.
Can I make some comments? It's kind of, the universe and the cosmos work. I was just going over this not too long ago. And through my discovery, I was looking at the word identity. And a lot of us don't understand what they're talking in the reference to um, identification. I don't like that word. I like ministry of credentials. I have credentials or credibility for everything that I speak on. I have belief in truth. I'm speaking truth. See, identification, if you look up the words as I go through the etymology of identification, it says sameness, oneness, state of being the same. And then I went down to the looking at the word indent, right? Because that's where it comes from. The word ident. And it says an indented certificate of indebtedness issued by the US government or state government in the 18th and early 19th century, a contract or deed in writing. And then I went up to identization. And then I went to understand what is an identization as it relates to this, right? Trying to figure out what is an identization.
What is the Ides of March?
I don't know.
5.
5.
Fifth estate, the fifth estate.
Let's see. So this is what I got out of identization, the act of naturalizing, but it had a better definition that I was looking at earlier.
Well, real quick before we get too far here, we've only got 3 minutes left, but
Okay,
indent as in indenture.
indenture, right?
Dentures.
No, you didn't.
Hold on, let me get back. I'm trying to get back.
Indentures. It's what we use to speak with. That's what indentures us. A man is bound by his words, whether they're spoken or written. Go ahead, brother.
I have a quick question. I'm sorry, Keith.
Sure.
I've had my hand up for a while.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I missed the hands up. I'm sorry.
Fine. You're fine. I was just wondering, so then when it comes to the social number, should we, if we made the mistake of getting one for the offspring, do we go ahead and correct that? And also, you know, I know Malika talks a lot about you don't necessarily have to correct your own social security number because it was done under fraud, and so you don't have to do anything with that. But I was wondering if there's any benefit to doing anything with that, if you don't mind sharing.
Well, yeah, what I'm going to do next is through the Homeland Security, we're going to work on the redress number. Because like I spoke in Malika's Zoom, she's the only one I've heard of in the entire time I've been researching this that has a redress number. It's the first time I ever heard of it. And immediately it clicks with that First Amendment, petition the government for a redress of grievances. And the grievance is the assignment of the Social Security number to a newborn child, claiming that the individual, the child, owes a debt to the United States. I'm sorry, I made a mistake in doing so. I didn't cognize that that's in fact the statement I was making. It is not true. It is an impossibility. I need to redress the individual record.
Is the revocation of election, that form that someone can send to the Social Security Administration, is that still in Friends in Law, or do you have a copy?
I don't do those things. When you're looking for that kind of stuff, generally you're going to have to ask somebody else that's done it.
Okay. I have a.
But in regards to the revocation, I agree. Yes, that's exactly what you need to do. But whether you use their form or do it through your own affidavit, that's up to you.
Okay, could that also be like, oh shoot, like an affirmation, like a statement? Because I know that like the term affidavit is kind of legal.
Right. Let's open we're running out of time. I'm going to open the Zoom up again. Come right back, folks. I'll give it 5 minutes for everybody to come back in. And we'll catch that when we come back in. All right. Thank you.